Hi. Listen, this is so uncomfortable. I'm on here all by myself. Scott is unfortunately in Florida having the time of his life. He likes to call it a work conference. I'm calling it his vacation. So same thing, I'm sure. But Scott is not here, but we're going to have an all-girls show, and it's going to be so much fun. So if you are just here, I am Erin, and this is Drinks with Leaders, sponsored by Bestway International. If you need anything shipped and you want to make sure it gets there, Bestway International is the way to go. Scott Havens is usually here, so I know a lot of you guys know Scott Havens. So he's not here today, but he will be back next week. Usually I have a little bit of a heads up on this and a co-host, but I think something happened with his Wi-Fi. It was total last minute. So he's not here today, but we are. If you are watching, please let me know if you are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Please let me know so it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself. We were talking in the pre-show earlier, and we got very excited it was going to be an all-girl show because I don't know if we've ever done that. But also, our two guests today were such hype women about me having to come on here on my own. This is like, I don't know how often you guys go on live, but to go on live and talk to yourself is one of the weirdest things in the world. It's like being back in COVID, but nobody else has to get on. Remember when we were all trying to figure out how to get on here? So, thank you, Tammy. Tammy is watching on LinkedIn. Tammy, thank you. Sarita is watching on LinkedIn. Oh, look, Harry's watching on LinkedIn. Thank you, guys. Okay, I don't feel so alone now. You guys, I work at home all day by myself, and I never feel alone. But the minute you put me on here by myself without Scott, don't tell him I miss him a little bit, okay? All right, guys. Well, we have some really fabulous guests. I'm going to bring them out. We're not going to do the timer today because the way that I have this all set up, it'll be over somebody's face, so I don't want to do that. I'm still going to play the terrible music only because I don't have better music yet. But if anybody can get me any of the rights to the Tortured Poets Department album for this would be amazing. But I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring my guests. I do want to thank one more time Bestway International. And then if you're just jumping on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, where are you watching us from? So, all right. You guys, these are two pretty awesome, almost set up. You're not allowed to press on LinkedIn Live. But they're pretty taller women that we have come in. All right, our first guest today is Kortney. And our other guest is Miss Hailey. Okay, I did it as long as I could by myself, guys.
I love the music.
That was some hype. You had something going there. That was good.
Yeah.
How do people talk online by themselves?
When you were talking about it, I just kept thinking about how influencers do it. I have no idea how they do that.
Their pet is sitting behind them and they're talking to their pet right then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, Ben is watching us on LinkedIn Live. Thank you, Ben. You know, here's the truth. I do go on TikTok Live a lot on my business one and do but people on TikTok come in really fast, comment, and you don't have to work through a third-party software like you do on LinkedIn. It comes right away, and they can request to come up, and they come up and ask questions and stuff. So I think it's the third-party software that's throwing me off, to be really honest.
Yeah.
So if you want to catch me doing weird stuff, just watch me on TikTok.
I didn't know you were on TikTok Live. I'm going to have to watch TikTok.
Well, I do TikTok Live. I have a business. It's at Erin Hayden Fulk, and I do business tips and stuff. So.
Yeah, I love it.
And actually, this is just a fun fact for everybody watching. Then we're going to get to our guests because nobody cares about me. But now I'm just talking about myself. So here I go. I have actually made an entire group of friends that I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks with off of TikTok Live. We've traveled together for the past year in different places. So yeah, it's kind of fun. I've made a lot of friends. Totally normal. Don't worry.
That's really cool.
Totally normal.
Totally normal. All right, guys, let's jump into our show. Kortney, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Sure. Kortney Clark Lubtinsky, just added that last part last year. What do I do? I am the owner of WORQ-IT, which is a training company, which I'll blabber amazingly about here in a little while. I grew up in small towns in Kansas, which they say people from small towns are either criminals or creative, sometimes both. I don't know if you've heard that or not. But Kansas City this is the world's largest small town. So I love it here. After college, I moved all over the place. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in Iowa. I lived in California, all those things. I feel like I'm hearing a beeping. I'm going to fix that. But I came back because I wanted my kids to be from Kansas City. We have this vibe here where it's the pay it forward. Everybody likes everybody. What can I do for you? Not Iowa Nice, which I'm not, I love Iowa. We're big Hawkeye fans, but Iowa Nice is like, I'm going to help you carry your groceries even if you don't want me to. Kansas City is more like, hey, neighbor, do you need anything? But I'm not going to impose on your space. So I love it here. I'm just recently moved downtown to Columbus Park, near Garozzo's. That's where everybody's like, where's Columbus Park? And in this really old building. And it's amazing because all the neighbors know each other. A lot of them have been here since forever, since it started. And I just love, I love the vibe here. So that's how I ended up in Kansas City. And I will never leave. I will visit other places, but I will never leave.
Okay, so you're a big Iowa Hawkeyes fan.
Yes.
What was the dichotomy in the past year of being a Hawkeyes fan, a women business owner, and I'm guessing a Caitlin Clark fan?
Well, my last name is Clark. Hello. We're not related. I wish we were, but we're not related. It's amazing because if you're a Hawkeye fan, you know that it's really emotionally exhausting to be an Iowa Hawkeye fan for sports. And one of my daughters actually is graduating this Thursday from Iowa with a Master's of Library Science. Little brag on her. But to be a Hawkeye fan sports-wise, I wear my like Iowa is lit. Iowa City, they're known for literature. They're known for the best writing school in the country. So I love to go to the sporting events and be like, hey, we also write books, which is cool. So being all pro women's basketball, pro women's scholar, pro women business owner, I'm waving the flag obnoxiously right now. It's awesome.
I love it. Here, Ben says, Garozzo's for lunch. Get the Philly cheesesteak. That's an Italian restaurant, I know. Do you go to Garozzo's often?
Yeah, well, I can smell it right now. And you can hear the Frank Sinatra music. So it's hard not to want to eat it every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When did you move back? Like, how long were you here? Because you said your kids, you wanted them to go to school here. So how long have you been?
So I've been back 17 years. So I've been here quite a while. When my youngest was 1 and my oldest was 11. So I'm like, let's get on back so you can be from here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
perfect.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to learn more about you in just a little bit. Haley, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City? And let me unmute you. There you go.
Yes. So I'm Haley Flippo. I'm the owner of Belleview Branding, a promotional branding company. And I actually have been born and raised in Kansas City. I'm also from a small town, but it's Oak Grove. So it's east of Blue Springs area. And I've loved Kansas City. I always thought that I was also going to move all over. I wanted to move to New York. I wanted to move to LA. But I just never could get there. The furthest I had ever been was Oklahoma City. So after school, I went to school for fashion design and I was applying for all of these jobs. I wanted to be a costume designer or I wanted to work for a brand. I wanted to actually design product. And I was applying and I wasn't hearing anything back. And so I kind of thought, well, I guess I'll just move to New York or move to LA and try to get a job there. And then my family is in the industry. So I was born and raised in the promotional industry. And so when it was time, it was to try to decide, I thought, well, maybe I'll just stay in the wholesale area and try to kind of figure out the wholesale world just until I can get a job somewhere like New York. And when I got in the industry on the vendor side, they were like, well, great, we have a territory in Oklahoma City. And so I went there for a year. And then my husband and I actually reconnected the weekend I moved in there, and he still lived in Kansas City. So I got to move back and start my business here in the fall of 2021 in the same industry that my family is in, my in-laws. And so it's just a great time all the time.
KC is a great hub within reach of everything. New York of the Midwest. Oh, New York of the Midwest. Yes. And we got Taylor Swift now. So we're really winning.
I went to New York for the first time in March last year. It was incredible because once I moved back, then there was never a time for me to go, or I would try to plan a trip and it just wasn't working out. And it was funny because actually my dad, he always told me, he's like, you're never going to like it. There's rats. It smells. You're going to get stolen, like all these crazy things. And we got there and we went to Grand Central Station and I was crying. I called him like, you are a liar because this is the coolest place and I love it here. And I think I'm glad he did tell me because if I did go, I think I would have moved.
Full transparency, both my kids are trying to go to New York afterwards. So we'll probably end up there because if they both go there, I got to go there, right? But it is really great. It is really great. But I have had 2 friends from Kansas City that have ended up very high in high fashion. And I do think high fashion is so cutthroat as a Midwest girl. Yes. It's really hard to, like, they both hated it once they were where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
So your dad might have been right.
Yes. Yeah.
You know this man, he's saying, I may be biased, but Belleview Branding LLC is my favorite restaurant we've had yet.
What
Is
a sweet husband.
And he was on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's a family affair around here.
Yes.
Okay, real quick, in promotional products, what is the hottest item right now for companies to hand out? Or that companies are asking
hand
for?
out?
That companies are asking for,
gosh,
giving clients
right.
hands out. Yeah. What's the
Yeah.
hottest item?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm trying to kind of create more of a creative area. And so right now I've been doing a lot of, so just to kind of back it up a little bit. So for conferences or for trade shows, everyone's looking for marketing material and a giveaway. And so we have this new brand in our industry that kind of put everything all in one. So I've been highlighting, it's called Sweeter Cards, and you can put in like a sunglasses or chocolate or cookies inside of this brochure looking type of style. And so you can put all of your product or all of your information on one card, and it's a brochure, and then you can put your product inside of it. So it takes care of the giveaway and the marketing. And that has been one of the hottest items that I've been working on right now, because it's a lot of confusion. People don't know really what to give anymore, because it's saturated of what do we give that someone actually wants to keep, that we would like to give, we'd like to put our brand on it. And so we always suggest, of course, just something creative. If you're doing a golf tournament, let's do something golf related. Let's do something that's someone wants to grab, but is unique and someone's going to remember it.
Right. Mm-hmm. My kids, you know how many pairs of sunglasses my kids have that I have to spray?
Yes. Yes. Well, that's one of the reasons I didn't really want to be in the industry, because growing up, we used to take our vacations around trade shows. So we had stress balls and pens and all this stuff. And that's just what I thought of it as. And so when I was in it, I realized, no, it's about the company that you're working with, if you're creative or not, to actually provide other options.
Right.
I like your comment that you could put like a cookie in it that way, because if your label's on here, I ate it and now I don't know what it's.
And you throw away the
brochure. I'm set.
Yeah. And so you're not having to invest in the marketing material and a giveaway. It's one, and it makes an impression that someone's going to remember.
Right. Yeah. I like that. Okay, Kortney, what has been the most pivotal point in your career so far?
Well, it's serendipitous that I was invited to be on this show, because I just started my own company. I heard, it's 2021. No, mine is a week. It's been a week.
That's great.
When you're in class and you're in the back of the room and you were talking and the teacher's like, Ms. Clark, if you think you can do a better job, do you want to get up here? It's supposed to embarrass you. I was like, hell yeah. Heck yeah. I'm getting up here. So it's nice to be able to put my money where my mouth is. So most recently, I have my partner who can finish my sentences, Serena Heikes, and we started this company. I'm calling it a training company because nobody Googles how to deprogram culture of your company. But that's really what it is. I've worked with amazing trainers who can go in for the day. I'm sure you've gone to them, right? What do you want to focus on? We need Microsoft training, bring in a trainer for the day. If you want to focus on conflict management, it's a trainer for the day. They give you some amazing tidbits. You can apply them. You're psyched up. You're excited. And then you go home. Well, and then you're distracted with dinner and your kids and you're a little bit deflated. Then you go to work the next day and you kind of have a to-do list and you're a little deflated. You just lost everything that was amazing from that training day. So WORQ-IT, I get to throw my passion, which is to let people be their unique selves so they can thrive in the workplace. So if I was going to practice my elevator pitch and you would say, Kortney, what does WORQ-IT do? I would say, have you ever worked for a dysfunctional company?
No. Yes.
Yes. Most likely. If not, you're the rarity, and congratulations. If not, I want to know everything you're doing right. Yes, WORQ-IT comes in and helps with those things. So for example, say that you need to communicate onboarding so that your new hires actually feel empowered. They know what they're doing. They feel comfortable. If that's not built, they're floundering and you just wasted a lot of money and you're paying somebody who's not being productive. We can help fix that. Say it's retention. For 2024, read all of the HR stuff. The focus is retention of employees. Because the employment rate is so low, awesome, actually means you're not going to get new candidates. So you need to take care of the employees that you have. And you can do that by finding out what their pain points are and then fixing them. And people don't have to see training as an assignment or homework. They actually love it. It feels like you're spending time, you're investing in them, and you care about your employees. Most recently, I have a client who sent out surveys. We did a spring training for them, reiterating all of their devices and things that they need to learn for their jobs. And then we asked a survey and they loved it. They're like, this is going to make us better than everybody else. I feel like I know my stuff better than anybody else. Here's the next topics I want to be trained on. So this pivot in my career is that I get to spend time doing something I'm obviously passionate about, which is going in and saying, how do you help your employees be themselves so you can get the best out of them? Like, think how much energy you've wasted trying to fit into the box. This is what I wear. This is what I say. This is how I present. If you let me be my weird self, you are going to get the most productive, hardworking, most ethical, amazing employee ever. So how do you build that environment for your employees? And that's what I want to do. And if I can do that as a full-time job, I'm living the dream right here.
Okay, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
I'm a little obsessed here. Okay, first of all, you've been in business for 1 week and you said, I have a client. So you went in having clients?
Got one client, yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. And then 2, when you have to check the box, of what industry you're in, what box do you check? When you're trying to create this whole new thing, but there are the boxes that you have to check, right? Like when you're going for your LLC and when you're going for funding or anything like that, there's boxes. What box do you currently check? And then who are you trying to work with that would understand that, right?
Sure. The box in checking is education because it is. We're not teachers. That's not my goal. But it's to come in and say, let's take the word training. It's the best word you have to work with because there aren't better boxes, as you said. But the people I'm trying to work with is ones who say our culture is having a financial impact on our company. People are leaving. People aren't being productive. If to replace an employee costs you anywhere from 50 to 250% of their salary to replace them. If you have a disengaged employee who hasn't quit, but they've just mentally checked out, take 17% of their salary. That's how much money you just threw in the garbage. Yeah. We want to come in and help fix that by creating an environment where they're productive, they enjoy their job, they have open communication, there's transparency. It's not as hard as it sounds. It's just really finding managers who go, wow, I want to build a culture where people want to work here. And we can help do that through easy online programs. We can do in-person programs, whatever fits your people. Like I've worked for amazing training companies, but here's the options on the shelf. And you go get that option off the shelf. Yeah. And then your trainer does a great job kind of tweaking it to your language. Ours is we're going to start from scratch going, what is your issue? We're going to ask the right questions to find the issue and then give you a way to actually fix it.
So do you feel like you're more culture or operations or just kind of a merger between those?
I'd say it's a merger. It's how do you fix culture without having an operational program to fix it?
Cool. I like this. And I like that you already have a client.
Thank you.
Good job. You're already beating out most of the odds. Here you go. You're going to be like, not 1 week. Next time we have a show, you're going to be like, I've been doing this for 5 weeks.
There you go. It's been a long time in the works. It's all lived here, but then you have to be like, I just need to jump. Let's just jump and make it happen. And the universe says it's time. Here you go.
I did that. My company will be 8 next month.
You're all very inspirational.
I'm not going to blink and it's going to be there. Yeah. All right. Speaking of people that started businesses, Haley, what has been your most pivotal move in your career?
Yes, it has definitely been when I made the decision to start my company, Belleview Branding, because I'd always known I wanted to start a business. I've had this entrepreneurial spirit where I've wanted to create things here and there. I've always had an idea. I'm a dreamer for sure. And so I would come to friends and family with all these ideas, but never really knowing how should I execute it? Which direction do I want to go? But I knew I loved design and creativity. I loved both things, but I also loved product. I love to shop. I love to be able to put things together. I just love the whole process of it all. So throughout my career, I have been in this industry. Then I got out. I actually was in staffing. So that's interesting talking about training because there are so many companies that need training. So it's such a good business. And then I tried interior design. I've just really tried all these different industries. And what I was doing in the process was, even though I knew what my skills were that I really wanted to go into business for, I was developing this leadership mentality and trying to kind of take everything in like a sponge. And when it was time to start the business, I just knew I was working for a company and did something very similar, but I wanted to be more creative. I wanted to be able to work with my clients and actually say, tell me about your brand. What is it? Who are you? Who are you trying to attract with your brand? And being able to bring product that someone can actually hold and have an impression with. And so I just decided one day, you know what, I'm just ready to start. And I started looking into it. And from that moment on, it has been the greatest decision that I've ever made, because I get to do what I love to do. I feel free creatively, and just in general, I feel like I can go to anyone and say, I want to talk about your brand, and I can do it with passion instead of having just kind of a feeling of it not really being mine. And so that was definitely the moment, was when I made the decision, and now I just get to do it every day. And I get to bring the passion to all of my clients. And it's so important because that's how I feel about my own brand. So it brings a whole other level to it, where I can be talking to people and speaking from my own experience, saying, I'm not going to recommend that water bottle. It does not hold anything. It's not great. No one's going to love it. No one's going to love that shirt. Let's pick this item, and really be able to stand behind that passion. And so it's just this, and I'm sure you feel this way, it's just this like freedom, this creativity that I get to do every single day.
And how did you get your first clients?
So it was from previous industries. So I kept all of my clients, because that's another thing that I knew, was I wanted my own clients, because I love to make my clients, my friends. So the minute I meet with someone, I'm like, we're friends now. We have this whole relationship. And so I've kept my book of business and really have nurtured those relationships. So when I started, before I actually started the business or announced that I was starting the business, I had reached out to a lot of my contacts who I had known for quite a while, just in previous industries and just in general. And so that's how I started working with my first clients, was based on referrals. So I was working with people who were brought to me by previous clients or just loved ones who knew that they worked for a company who needed some assistance with branding. And then it just kind of snowballed, because then I was working with them, and then they had a referral, and it just kind of kept going and going. And yeah, it's just been great.
Nice. All right. We're back on the clock now, because we've got about 6.5 minutes. So we're on a 2-minute clock for this last one. All right, Kortney, this is why everyone don't use a clock. We start chatting. Kortney, how are your 2024 goals going, and how can the Kansas City community help you achieve them?
My 2024 goals are to have a meaningful conversation, a minimal of one every day. And what the Kansas City community can do is reach out and ask questions. I'm not looking to bombard you with marketing. I'm not looking to sell you what I do. I just want to learn more about what the pain points are. Or if everything is amazing where you work, tell me what makes it amazing. So I think it's people reaching out and just learning more about each industry and what's out there. When I lived in California, I worked for the city, and I did requests for proposals. So I learned all kinds of bizarre things. I learned about dry cleaning for the firefighters. I learned about the reclamite process of redoing the roads, stuff that would never cross my mind. But in my last employment, I worked in medical aesthetics. It's just amazing to see what the consistencies are in those industries and what their pain points are. So I think people just reaching out and having conversation, networking, asking, I have this problem. Do you have some recommendation? I would love to spitball ideas. And that's how you learn. It's never stop learning. You can't be in training or education and not be a learner. That's like being a writer and not being a reader. They just don't go together. So I think letting people, I'll put on my psychiatry pin. Come give me your 5-second review of what's going on at work, and let's see if there's a way we can help.
Awesome. I love that. This is a random question, but you made me think of this. Who's your favorite person to learn from? Like your favorite person online to follow, to learn from?
Actually, I love Simon Sinek. Who doesn't? And Jefferson Fisher. If you don't follow him, I just adore him. He's a lawyer from Texas who gives communication tips, but they're quick. 3 things you can apply, and I am a huge fan. He's writing a book right now. So if you don't follow him, go follow him. He's on all the social media as well. Jefferson Fisher.
I love to follow attorneys that do social well. I think they're one of my favorites.
He's an amazing. It's just he gives communication tips. Like, what do you do when someone insults you? How do you handle conflict? And they're all quick and applicable. So I highly recommend.
Megan said WWJFD.
I'm going to follow
Okay, Haley, I know. I don't know who he is. I'm going to call
Yeah.
him. How are the 2024 goals going? And how can the Kansas City community help you?
They're going really well because my main goals for this year were to expand internally from my own operations and my own team, but also to expand my network. Because since I did start the business 3 years ago and I did start working immediately with referrals, I kind of was head down and building those relationships and really also building the business. So I am in the Kansas City network, but I wanted to be more invested in the Kansas City network. So I've been going to lots of networking events, asking for recommendations because I really want to be intentional with my networking, because it's really where I'm at, is trying to get the name out there of, let me learn about your business. Let me help you with your branding and we can collaborate. And so how Kansas City honestly is going to help is just by being that network, being able to have those conversations and learning about others that they refer just as great professionals to learn from, because I really want to learn also to continue that learning from other business owners. And so I've been going to a lot of great networking events and networking groups, just to try to keep expanding my network so then I can also keep expanding my business.
Love it.
Mhm.
And what is the best way to get a hold of both of you guys? Is it LinkedIn?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. LinkedIn would be the best.
And
LinkedIn.
My website.
LinkedIn for you too, Kortney?
Yeah, or just K Clark at WORQ-IT. It's
Mhm.
WORQ-IT with a Q.
Perfect. Hello, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Okay, and then I have we got a couple more minutes, so I just have real quick questions for you guys. Do you guys, when you're meeting with people, are you meeting on Zoom? Are you meeting lunches, coffees? Kind of what's your preferred way to meet people?
I
Coffee.
like all of the above.
Yeah, all of them. But lately it's been coffees a lot.
A lot of coffee.
Have been the preference. Yeah.
Okay.
But anything and everything, happy hour, whatever you guys want to do.
The weather is nice. It's time to get out. So go out and
Yes,
see
it
the Kansas
is.
City small business. Cafe Coffee Shop is near here. It's a great place to meet people.
I live
Awesome.
at McLean's now. I've been at McLean's every day, it seems like, for
Which
weeks.
one?
The one on Row.
The one on Row. I like the one over in Shawnee too. Is this how you spell WORQ-IT?
It has a hyphen. So WORQ-IT.com.
Perfect. Okay, well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Stay on until we're not live anymore. Serena's
killed
got
it.
Here, look at that.
That would be my partner.
Right? She's the business partner?
That would be her. That's Serena.
She's on it.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys got all sorts of support already, so you know they're good people. Support. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you, Scott, for leaving us for an all-girls show. This was way fun. Thank you to Bestway International, and thank you to everybody that watched and commented, especially at the beginning, so I didn't feel like I was all by myself. Thanks, Deborah. All right, guys, make sure that you connect with Kortney and Haley. They want to do coffee or happy hour or Zoom or whatever you want to do, but they want to start meeting people. So make sure you connect with them, and we will be back same time, same place next week. We will see you, and go enjoy. Yes, girl power. Go enjoy the weather. See you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.